Poducer.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Poducer, the podcast for producers. Today we're joined by John Rynecki. John, what do you do? You know, generally, like, what are the hats that you wear?
Yeah, I would say I consider myself I'm a DJ, music producer, event promoter, like educator. And for me, I guess my thing is like, my mission is like to bring abundance to the dance floor. And I guess what that means is like bringing a more collaborative energy and spirit to nightlife and to dance music. And that's kind of like what drives a lot of my music, what I play, what I make in the events that I curate.
That was very professional.
Thanks.
I feel like some people are like, yeah, just fucking, I don't know. I'm like, okay, that was good. You didn't have to answer that, but
Thanks.
Also, we got Chris Aram on the podcast today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
My guest host.
Is it switching to you correctly?
Not really.
Okay, here, let me fix that.
I can just be an audio-only cameo.
Try talking now.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Aram here. Oh, yeah, there's going. It's nice.
There we go. Yeah. Something we ask on every episode is, what was your first concert that you went to as an attendee?
Got it. I guess would it be like electronic music concert or just like any kind of concert?
I don't know. The world is your oyster. You can answer that however you like. You give us both.
Yeah, I think I'll give you both.
Also, you can move this slightly closer.
Slightly closer. Cool.
Beautiful.
How about now?
That's beautiful.
Cool. The first concert I think I ever went to was in so I grew up in Panama and Puerto Rico and Germany. My parents are U.S. military, and so we lived in Germany at the time, and we went to a Shakira concert, like me and my mom and my sister.
Dude.
So, that was fun.
What era? Is this Hips Don't Lie era?
Yeah, I'd say 2004, 5, 6, one of those. So, and then first EDM concert show, I would say Rusko at Congress Theater going into 2012 here in Chicago. Really good time.
I think I was there.
Yeah.
Was this the Congress or the Congo? Or the
Congress?
The Congress. Great times. I saw Nero there.
Yeah.
I also saw Nero's playing at Soundbar, and I'm like, boo. Like, I just don't like Soundbar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me neither.
Thick Flux Pavilion's playing there soon.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
But yeah, the Congress, Chris, you might not know, but it was like this old venue. I had a lot of my first concert experiences there, and it was just lawless. Like, people would be getting kicked out and then just like let back in somehow. Like, I had friends that would get kicked out and then just somehow sneak back in, and
it's still there. It's still there on Milwaukee.
It's still there.
Just briefly past Concord.
Is it operating?
No.
I heard something about it coming back one time, and that would be epic. But it's a cool theater.
It is beautiful.
How was that Rusko show?
It was great. It was, I think like that was kind of a moment where like me and like a lot of friends that I still have today, we were getting into, I guess, starting to realize the wave of electronic music coming to the United States. It probably came like a year or two before, but getting to see that in action was really cool, and getting to like ride that as an attendee was really fun.
Yeah. This is like UKF era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Classic times. There was a Dr. P and Flux Pavilion show that my friends went to there that I missed out on. They were like coming back, and they were, playing all those tunes in the car because like we were newly able to drive.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how old you are. I'm 31.
Okay.
So like, anyway, you don't have to answer that question.
34.
Okay.
Yeah.
So similar-ish age. But yeah, like that's what we were bumping. I was the guy that was like finding tracks on YouTube.
Nice.
And that's basically what got me into electronic music.
Very cool. Yeah, that was like how I think a lot of people at our age like would find dance music, YouTube. Living in Germany, I remember when I was a kid on the bus, I think I was like 11 or 12, and then the American kids on the bus with like, it was an American military school in Europe, and the coach buses were like German, and we live off base, and they'd pick us up and then take us to the base for school. And everybody on the bus was like making fun of like the electronic music on the radio. And I was like, I kind of really like this. Like, this is fucking sick. But I kept that to myself for a while. And and I think over time, like I found Above and Beyond, Armin van Buuren, and like all of it through like either MTV or like through YouTube.
I wanted to dive into like kind of, being, living in Panama, living in Germany. Any interesting musical experiences there besides Shakira and like or just music maybe you were hearing around, or things that shaped kind of your musical background?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot, I guess, like growing up on like salsa, merengue, that was a huge part of it. But then going to my mom had friends in Panama that would go to parties, and then all the kids would hang out, but then you'd hear music in the background. Like maybe you're like going back and like the adults are getting drunk and the kids are playing together. But there's certain songs that definitely stuck out to me from the time. Like, was it Anything But the Girl? What's
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the song or the band? But
I don't know. Yeah.
Anything But the Girl, and they have like the song called Missing, or is it Missing, or And I Miss You. Like
it's a pop duo.
Yes, them.
Yo, I was just listening to them, I'm pretty sure.
And they're like incredible. Like that, for me, that is like how, that is what I think of, like that. I think probably one of the first few things that kind of got me into music, and really kind of like, I had no idea who they were, but I remember I was at
Everything But the Girl.
Everything But the Girl. That's what it is. Yes.
They have a banger that I've been listening to.
Yeah, they came back a couple years ago for like a new, I don't know if it was a new EP or new.
They dropped a new album 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, album. Yeah. That's what it was. Nice.
They also have that song where it's like, "And the desert missed the rain."
Yes,
right?
That's the one.
That's a banger.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This was in Panama.
Yeah.
Any other interesting?
Yeah, I think it wasn't really until, so it's like, I guess like in Panama, Puerto Rico, definitely got on like salsa, Latin influence, and then hearing stuff like Everything But the Girl, and then even like getting into like, listen to Craig David for the first time in like 2000. I remember that. Like that was like 2000, 2001. That changed my life. Like Usher. Yeah. I never really got into rock. Like rock is something that I got into more as an adult, and then my stepdad really showed me some things, but it's not something that like I had to go back and listen to Dark Side of the Moon as like an adult, and everything else.
Me too.
Yeah. It just depends, I guess, what your parents show you. And then it wasn't until in Germany, that's when I really got into electronic music. And then now as an adult, being able to like kind of fuse R&B, hip hop, and or just like classical elements that I loved into electronic music in a way that I love, is like just a super fun way to like create.
I feel like that's a great way to play this Craig David remix.
Oh, yeah,
sometimes I wait way too long to play music, so let's just get right into it.
Let's do it.
This one is Fill Me In.
Mm-hmm.
I forget which one this is, but yeah. Oh, let's see if SoundCloud hits me with an ad. I don't pay for it, dude. This one's got a little bit of an intro. Should we skip ahead, or we should?
Yeah, you could skip ahead to the initial breakdown.
a nice Reese.
Yeah, for me, I really love like Reese and breakbeat.
Yeah, this is hot. I like it. We'll fade that one out. Dude, Craig David, that song 7 Days.
Yes. That's the melody. It's so good.
Look, if you need me for melodies. No. He's so good. Okay, so let's go back to Germany really quick.
Yeah.
Just because Germany kind of has this air about them that they're like techno, minimalist. Like, was that what the music was like when you were living there?
No, definitely not. I think like what I heard on the radio was like Cascada, like every time we touch.
This
like,
is a singing episode.
Yeah.
We sing the songs.
Yeah, it's like Cascada, like early Dave Guetta, which is like Dave Guetta back in the day was like, I mean, one of his songs like with featuring like Don't Let Me Go, like it's a hit. It's still a hit, I'd say.
Like, do the pros call him Dave?
I don't know.
I just like how you're calling him Dave Guetta.
Yeah, and he definitely some hits back then, and then ATB, Peggy Goo resampled like an ATB, like in that one song that went platinum. It was an ATB sample.
And the one where it's like do do do
yes,
with the little glidey thing.
Yes,
this is a singing episode.
Yes.
I'm not fucking around.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so this is on the radio.
Yeah, it's all on the radio, and then that. Yeah, I mean, there's other stuff in the radio too, but that's kind of like what I gravitated toward, and what our bus driver, I forgot his name was. That's what he
like
played.
School bus driver.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's what
he was
played.
cranking tunes.
He was cranking tunes. Yeah,
that's awesome.
it was really cool. Yeah.
So what is it like being, in all these different countries when you're young? Like, how do you reflect on that now?
Now with like gratitude that I was able to like grow up in different places and see the world differently. There are some other aspects about it that I didn't particularly like looking back on it. I mean, it at the end of the day, it is what it is. That was my upbringing, and I'm very grateful for that time. One thing I would say just about it was a U.S. military base. There's a bunch of U.S. military bases all over Germany, and I guess like the school system is run by civilians, but then like what they teach you is like kind of a very rose-colored picture of like American history. So I kind of grew up. I like to say, I mean, we don't need to get political on here, but I grew up definitely with like a rose-colored vision of America and how America is. And like you see on base, you have like the general who's like the commander of the base, and he's like maybe black, and you have somebody who's colonels who are Latino, and women like sergeants and people that are like that are of higher rank and elevation. And then you think that's how the rest of America is. And that was like a very rude awakening for me coming back to the US years later. But for the most part, I think it was beautiful, really getting able to see the world through that. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
How long were you there for? Like, how old were you before you moved to the States?
So I moved to the States when I was 18. So I lived abroad my entire life. Panama, like 10 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But I was always able to come back. I think I always visited. My dad lived in the States, and we'd come back every summer, me and my sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not like the U.S. was completely foreign to me, but it was also just, so I was, the term for it is called third culture. Like I was a third culture kid, being able to I grew up as an American in Europe, but I wasn't fully German. I was not German. I learned German a little bit. And, but I also, when I moved back, I realized I wasn't fully American, not fully American either. And so one thing that I've learned over the years is that I tend to gravitate, like some of my best friends are people who have like this third cultureness to them. Like I have a friend in New York, Samir, he grew up and like he's Indian, but he grew up in in London. And it's like, I guess third culture people tend to like gravitate towards each other because you have like that similar upbringing.
Just never heard that term. That's interesting, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
because you guys lived a similar life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just feel like, was it tough too? Like, because you're moving around a lot, like you know, it's hard to like make friends and then keep friends, and then like you got like, do you have any friends still from Germany that you've known for a long time? Like, you got like homies that you can hit up?
A few. I don't really talk to too many from high school, but I guess like some from back in the day. But there was also this culture of just like people moved, and that's just how U.S. military school systems are, and it's not really like. I guess I've never was in the school in the States, but I heard that maybe sometimes when you move there and then maybe there's a bunch of cliques and things like that, that's kind of not how it was. It definitely felt like it was, you move to a city, a new town, and it's like there's always like this welcoming attitude. And luckily for me, I lived in Germany for like 6 years. So I was in Heidelberg, the beautiful castle town on the Neckar River. And I lived there for 6 years, and that was like the oldest U.S. military base in Europe that closed down in maybe like 10 years ago. And that luckily I got to live there from I think 12 to 18.
Have you gone back and experienced like the club culture there? Because I'm assuming
Yes.
you were too young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much too young.
Was that something you aspired to do when you were younger? Or was that not really on your radar fully?
Yeah, it wasn't really on my radar. I definitely partied, and I knew of, and as I was like getting older, it's like, oh, what's the thing called Ibiza? Like maybe I should go there one day. But when I was 18, that I didn't make it there yet. But I guess I have gone back and I have partied there, and I absolutely love it.
Do you think, would you prefer to live there? Like, would you prefer to not live in the United States?
Oof.
Kind of a hot take.
Yeah.
We don't have to get like, oh, the United States, blah, blah, blah. But just like, does it feel more home? No.
No, I'd say Chicago is definitely my home. And also like I'm half Panamanian, so there's Panama's also home, and that's another place that I could just pick up, move to, and it would be a challenge living there compared to like here. There are some amazing things about Chicago that I can't get in Panama and vice versa. But I guess compared to Europe, I've never explored living there as an adult. Me and my girlfriend are thinking about like trying to move back, and trying to move to like Europe in a couple of years just to experience what that would be like. But I think Chicago's home.
Okay.
Is there any sort of like bucket list item you have to play in one of those places?
Yeah, I really want to play Berghain. I saw AME. One of like, I think Am is like sometimes 3 different people, but I forgot what's his name. But I got into Berghain, and it was 2023, so 2 years ago, around this time, and it was one of the final parties outside for the season before like they moved everything inside, and it was phenomenal. It was one of the best days of my life. It was pretty incredible. It's funny, we were talking about fans earlier. I was like standing behind him in the outdoor section, and there was like a big fan like blowing on him, and I was like standing behind him seeing him play at the outdoor section of Berghain. It's like I'm just a big fan. I'm just like super big fan of this guy, and I would love to play there or in the main at the Panorama bar above.
Yeah, I've only heard, like, I only have an image in my head of what it looks like.
Beautiful. And it's also because like you can't take photos there, or it's basically you just have to remember and know what it looks like. And even when you're there, there's no mirrors. At least from what I could tell, there are no mirrors. So it's like you don't know what you look like.
Yeah,
you're there for
I like that.
Hours and hours on end, and then it's a very interesting experience.
What's the level of like, they talk about like these sex parties and stuff? Is that rampant? Is that a thing that you see?
Yeah, you see it, but it's like you don't have to participate.
Yeah,
and there's definitely a separation. Maybe not a separation, but it's like it's there. And I think if you know where to go and like the rooms to explore to, like you can totally do that. There's
in the Berghain.
In the Berghain. I don't know all much about doing it in the Berghain because that wasn't something that really was looking for. There was one point like I wanted to get into the techno hall, the main hall, and I just wanted a place with like space and sound, and I went like towards the back left, and it's like, oh, there's plenty of space here. This is great. And then I remember like I was listening to the episode from Casey Ray, he was talking about bears, like larger, like I guess like people who are like gay who have like that heavier set. And then I just was dancing there in the corner, and like a bunch of bears just started dancing on me, and I was like, oh, there's no more space. Like, where'd the space go? And then eventually I realized that I think that's like an area where you meet people. And yeah.
So what'd you say? Were you like, do you have your German good enough to be like,
No, I was just like, I'm just trying to like dance, and then I just like moved.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm good.
But I think it's like maybe I didn't know for sure, but I think if you dance there, it's like maybe people think that
Let's get them, boys.
let's get them.
Yeah. I just was curious. I
Yeah.
know maybe that's one place.
Yeah. Yeah, there's other clubs as well.
Okay, cool. Well, let's switch gears to Chicago.
Mhm.
You know, you've been in Chicago for quite some time, a city with a lot of rich electronic music history,
Mhm.
birthplace of house. You know, I'm curious, like, what does the city's house culture mean to you personally? Like, was that something that drew you here? Was there a specific reason why you chose Chicago?
That wasn't something I didn't really know of Chicago's house music culture or legacy or history probably until like sadly probably like 2016. I moved here in 2016. I went to University of Illinois, and all my friends were like were from the Chicago suburbs. So, and all my friends were in Chicago, and I did a bunch of odd jobs after college, like taught English in Korea for a year, and then came back, and then
World traveler. Damn, crazy.
that was wild. And yeah, all my friends were here, and it's like I just had this feeling that I had to be here, and I considered New York, and that was definitely something that I was not able to afford at the time. So I had friends here, and I stayed on my friend's couch for like 3 to 4 months, found a serving job, and then just I dabbled in DJing at that time. Like I had like a Tractor S2, but it wasn't something that like I'm a DJ. I didn't think of that at all. I was just really here because I really wanted to. I knew I had to be here for some reason, and I think I definitely found out why. And then once I eventually learned about house music culture, I think now for me, the cultural legacy of this place is something that's like so important to me. I adore it. I cherish it. And I just want to make sure that other people know about it too. Because I think you can live your entire life in the city of Chicago and not know that house music was from here. And I think that's a tragedy.
Yeah. I wonder, like my mom. Mom, do you know? She listens.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it's something interesting, you know, something I don't remember if you specifically said in your intro, but like you and a couple other guys created an event called the Chicago Electronic Music Conference, something that definitely champions house music and maybe some techno and other kind of music in that same vein. I'm just kind of curious, like, what does it mean to you now? And like, why is it something that you want to kind of shed light on? Or like, you know, like, what was the impetus behind Chicago Electronic Music Conference and like the storytelling through your DJing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there are 3 co-founders, myself, Matt Pest, and Nikhil Gudwani, and we all came together for separate reasons. And I think it was like summer of 2023. I was in a time when I was like transitioning out of tech. I just left my job in tech at the time to pursue music kind of full time. And I had no plan. It's a whole story that I could share at a different time, but I just wanted more resources, and I wanted to find a way to like, why aren't there like, because I was in university and like many years before, and I never felt like, oh, I belong here. Like what, like it never felt like, I wanted to feel like Harry Potter at Hogwarts, but I never got that feeling. And it wasn't until I went to Amsterdam Dance Event at 2023, and then there's this building called Felix Meritus. I may be butchering it, but it's this beautiful building. It's like the heart of ADE, where like a lot of people meet. There's a lot of like networking events. There's also like a lot of conference like panels and things like that, and like just the energy there. Like you definitely feel like you're Harry Potter in the Gryffindor common room, and it's like, I'm home. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is exactly what I'm supposed to do. And I wanted to bring that back to Chicago. And people like Matt Pest, I remember he mentioned that he wanted like more like networking opportunities. And Nikhil, I think Nikhil's answer and mine have kind of fused, and like we both have our own like reasons, but I think like I really like what he's always championed, and that we're trying to elevate culture. We're trying to, because right now, like I would say city officials don't value house music or electronic music the same way that they value jazz or blues, because right now it's like we're just party music. And I think we've always been party music for the last 30 plus years, and I think that that pisses me off. It's like we're not. It's like this is culture. Just because you don't see it does not make it culture.
Yeah, something we were talking about just at a different time was that Chicago is really missing the ball on how much they could kind of use house music as like a cultural selling point of the city.
Right.
But they're not really, allocating funds to that specifically. So I guess there's why? Why specifically? Also, how do you change that?
Yeah, that's a tough question, because I'm not sure. I mean, even at the house music conference, like it was like 2-3 weeks ago, and I think not many people actually knew about it.
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm tapped in.
Yeah,
for the most part.
They announced it, I think, in April, and we had a table for like DCASE, which is Department of Cultural Affairs, and we brought them to have a table at our event, and that's how we found out about it. It's like, oh, this is cool, like let's go. But apparently, I from what I heard, they were having trouble like promoting it. I'm not sure, can't verify that, but I just know that they really didn't have like a schedule until the week of the event, which was like the last week. It was 2 weeks before ARC, so the weekend before ARC, and then it was like a 1-day conference, 3-day party. That was in Millennium Park, but then there was a beautiful building that they had it in. It was on Michigan Avenue, and I think it was like kind of underattended. But I think like there was one panel that I attended about like culture that was every single answer, like, oh, what's the problem with like what problems are we facing? Every single answer went back to the city. Oh, the city doesn't give 4 a.m. licenses. The city doesn't do this. The city doesn't that. And like, I don't think there was time for questions, but like every question I had in that panel was like, why? Like, why? Like, I think it just comes down to like politics and what the city prefers, and think maybe like whoever's in charge of DCASE. And like, I'm not trying to trash talk DCASE. They do amazing work, and I think they enable like a lot of good things that happen in the city culturally, but I think we are just not at the same level of like blues. We're not. Like, we're just, yeah.
See, the thing that's wild to me, especially, I mean, there's a lot of like boomers, right? Like if we're going to look at age demographics and how many people live in them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the answer to this question. I'm just kind of curious about it. Like, it feels like there's a lot of people that are younger that are really into electronic music, and that's a huge market to get people into the city. This is the birthplace of house.
Yeah.
Which is one of the most fundamental styles of dance music.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously Chicago, it's the windy city. Windy for its politics. Some people might not know that. They just think it's windy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of money that gets allocated to weird things that people are like, well, why is that happening? And it's maybe some mob ties. I don't know. But regardless, it does feel like we're slightly missing the ball. Blues feels like, okay, yeah, I like blues.
Yeah.
But like, how many people our age are like, blues is my favorite genre of music?
Yeah, I think it has to do with also, which there's a lot of boomers, and maybe the distribution of wealth. It's like everybody who has a home now, like I think the boomers are just holding on to their wealth, and I think like that's where resources are allocated to, because many of them are still alive and they all still have a lot of money. So I think that's, for me, I think that's probably what it is.
Who are some people besides yourself doing like CEMC that are trying to change this?
Yeah, I would definitely look at, first, we're inspired by by Viva Acid, Andrew Emio, Luis Barro, Jessica, like that whole team. They're doing amazing work, and they've been doing it for like they've had an event for the last 3 years. I think this one is the 4th year. Their event is coming up the first weekend of October. We're doing a collab with them at Gramophone Records that will be announced soon. But they're really about the culture, and I really appreciate that about them. And then we had them on to lead a panel at CEMC. And also, I would say Olivia Mancuso and also Sherm from Chicago Music Nexus. I think I loved their event last year. Excited to see it again this November, and they're really expanding their programming, and exciting to see more of that. And I think there's definitely more.
The Warehouse,
right? Yeah.
I haven't seen, like, we caught up with Casey a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of doing a lot of stuff there. But I haven't seen anything about like it officially happening.
Not yet, no.
Yeah.
Like also Orville, who's been a guest on here as well. He does things regularly at Spy Bar, but I think we definitely need more of it. And I definitely feel that more people, I think in the US, this is just my perspective, that people, they think house music, they think party. This is just party music. I think that's why maybe the culture hasn't shifted as much yet, but like this doesn't seem like something that is serious. It's not taken seriously. So that's why I think we're at where we're at, and maybe it's still like a growing industry, and people are still not adopting as fast.
Yeah, I also feel like there's like this tech house push that's real hard, and it's like remixes of tech or of old 90s songs or whatever, or any song tech house remix. And I've kind of hit my saturation point for that.
Yeah.
You predominantly live in like you sent me like a drum and bass track too, but progressive house, deep house. How do you feel about like what is the mainstream of house kind of being that tech house?
Well, I'd say the mainstream of house in Chicago is different from the mainstream of like the overall like the world and world. But I guess like I'm always a rebel, and I'm always like distrustful of things that are like, this is the most popular thing ever. So it's like I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna follow that right away until I maybe learn more about it. It's not always my favorite. It's not my favorite kind of music. My favorite kind of music in electronic music is the kind of music where like it's for lack of better terms, progressive. And one of my favorite DJs like Mira, Acid Pauly, Lauren Garnier, like they have these sets where it's like they intentionally give you time to like talk. I was at a Acid Pauly party in Berlin 2 years ago, and there was like, it just felt like there's a moment where like he calms it down, and then you could just talk to your friend like, oh, that was really cool. Oh my God, this is great. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then all of a sudden, like he has you in the groove. You're hooked, and then just like turns it back up again. Like Mira, the same. Lauren Garnier, it's an emotional journey. And so that's what I really love, and that's what I love to play. But I think like a lot of times music, maybe it's just like the continual groove and continual party is just like the norm. And that's something that I personally want to change. I don't know how to change that, or I don't think people want to change that.
I don't know. I think they do. I personally go to venues like whether it's a dubstep show and it's just bangers the whole time. I'm like 10 minutes in, I'm like, dude, I need a break.
For sure.
Yeah. And I feel like that could be with any music where it's like the way that you're mixing, if you're just doing drop to drop, it's kind of taxing.
For sure. Well, I think the algorithm has like influenced that, and the fact that I think COVID changed a lot of things in our industry. Maybe you've probably talked about that a couple times, but I think that COVID changed how we have, so like even just from after hours in Chicago, like people don't have like after parties, like parties that go late night at late venues, because it's just financially irresponsible to do so, because you can't put 30 grand on a party and have it get shut down at 1 a.m. And when you're supposed to go to 6, you've lost all your money. It's like, no way I'm doing that. So like that kind of party where you can just like feel like you're at home and you're not at a club, because at a club you have to put on a face. And then when you're at and like if you're as a DJ, all you learned was like chase the drop, you're not going to be able to like it's going to be harder for you to perform in a space where like that you need to like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like it just feels like, people are chasing the drop. Dance floors don't settle because everybody's playing the hits. And if everybody's playing the hits, it's like it creates this unease and this tension in the crowd instead of like a DJ who like, cool, we need to cool it right now. We need to like make it easier for people to like and breathe, and somebody could take it back up again. It might not be me, and that's okay. And I think, yeah, the ego, people need to understand when to use it and when to not.
I need more of that in every genre, please. I kind of wanted to circle back to CEMC.
Yeah.
How did the first year go? Like, what would you say were the wins, and what could you have done better?
Yeah. The wins were definitely, I would say the whole event overall was a massive success. People had an amazing time. We had over 350 people through the door.
We were there.
We were there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's where we like officially talked.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Actually, sorry, I want to take this.
No, you're good.
I got your name wrong when we first met, and I don't know if you know that.
I don't remember. That's cool.
Sean came up, and I was like, "Oh, Sean, have you met my buddy Justin?" And you kind of gave me a look, and you're like, "Yeah, Jerry."
Dude, I'll take Justin.
It's okay.
It's a
good name.
J name. You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's close.
But we had a great time there,
Nice.
and I met a lot of really cool people there.
That's sick. Glad that makes me, it warms my heart. Yeah, that was awesome. And I think like the wins were definitely having everything going on at the same time and having the little bit of FOMO where it's like, oh wait, maybe I should go to the side room. Oh, maybe I should go to the vendor area. Maybe I should go to a panel right now. Maybe like giving that little bit of FOMO, I think was like really helpful because like that was the magic that we like are trying to bottle up right now. And then some things that we can do better. I think like trying to throw a party after was not the best move just because like we got people there for the education, and then trying to throw a party after, then we were competing against literally 10 other parties. So that was not, luckily the Removo were super, like it wasn't poorly attended. It was like well attended, but it could have been, we definitely could have had more people there. It was a 14-hour event, which is like super long. And the team was like exhausted and loadout was not the best, but yeah, otherwise it was a huge success. We crushed it. I think like we're just going to build on that for next year.
Yeah. Does next year, do you know where the venue is? Is that something you can talk about? It's too early.
Yeah, not yet.
Feeling like it's too early.
A little bit too early. Yeah, I think we should do an episode with the
later.
The leadership
whole
team. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
What's like main mission for doing the event? Is it education? Is it?
I almost have it memorized, but like it's like so our main themes are like educate, connect, inspire, and really we want to elevate dance music culture to a level of status on par how it's seen in Europe, with like it is labeled as high art. And another part of that is to make it like a sort of like a career hub where people can go to CEMC and maybe you land a job out of it. Maybe you land a connection that maybe it's like a future collaboration, but it's like so again, like the two pillars, the two main things, like we want to elevate culture and help the city of Chicago and like the US overall to see it as culture, and then also enables people's careers through that, and also like make the change the narrative and perspective of dance music careers as something that is taken seriously, not something that is serious, but something that is, I mean, we're professional ass shakers, but it's like, it's not like we need to be super serious, but like, at least with respect.
Do you feel like the overall health of electronic music is like, is it on an upward trajectory or is it downward?
Definitely upward. I think that this is the biggest the industry's ever been. And it's also probably the healthiest. I don't know how to say this correctly, but it's like there's more opportunity now than there's ever been. It's probably more money in this industry now than there's ever been. But then also the wealth disparity is like DJs are still getting paid in drink tickets. And it is, I think maybe it's not changing in the US because of like the current model that we have that is like built around alcohol. And I mean, nothing wrong with drinking, but it's just like if in order for a night to be successful is dependent how many people are through the door and not like a good set. Maybe a good set has 10 people there. Like that still has impact versus like, well, sorry, you had 10 people and we didn't make a killing at the bar, so we can't do that again. Sorry, buddy.
How do you juggle kind of doing all these things, you know, selling your artistry, DJing, throwing an event like this, do they all kind of go into one thing that is your identity, John Rynecki, or is it like, is that tough? Do people always have to do things that are outside of just making music and DJing to be successful nowadays?
I think so. I guess like one thing, when I left my job in tech 2 years ago, I had this like really wanted to just find a way to make it work full time as an artist. And the reality that I've learned, that this is a long story that I'll share at some point, probably through like a bunch of reels and things like that. But I think that unless you have like a pile of money that'll just last forever, like a trust fund, it's so hard to be able to just focus on that. You need to be able to know where your money's coming from and know when you're going to eat next, when you're going to get paid next. If not, like, you're just going to be like you're going to sit down to make music. Maybe after the first month or two of like when you're free, and like you're just going to be, okay, cool, I'm free. You have this like freedom to be able to create and it feels good. But maybe like 2 or 3 months in, you have this nagging voice. It's like, hey, get a job. Hey, get a job. Like, it's like this anxiety just keeps building and building. And like, if you don't acknowledge that, it eventually, so I mean, like there's a lot of artists like, man, if only I had more time to like make music. If I just quit my job now, and like, I wouldn't suggest to do that unless you have a serious plan on how you're going to consistently like afford your life in this like uber expensive country. So I think the long answer to that is like, you have to have a job. And it doesn't, I think like trying to depend on your art for money I think it's a mistake personally from my own experience. And if there are people probably who do it well, but from every other genre of like art, not just electronic music, the people that I think are like the most successful are the ones who do art because they fucking love it, and they're not depending on their art for money. So I think, yeah, you do need to have other ways to like sustain yourself, especially in this economy.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, we all have jobs. Like, I have my business, you have your job.
Yeah.
Doing a bunch of part-time jobs right now. Yeah.
I have heard advice that I think is bad advice, which it's like you have to be pushed into a corner and like you have to like have that fire under your ass to be able to, you know, make it.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah. And like, you know, you have to be in a difficult situation basically to make beautiful art. And I just don't think that that's the case. Maybe for some people it works, but I think that the fear of like becoming homeless. Yeah. It's like, how am I going to power my music? Yeah. If it's electronic, you know, like.
For sure. And I think like just in the US, there's just so many sad stories of just like people folding themselves into whatever they need to do to survive, because it's like, this country just doesn't value arts in the same way as it does. Like, if you look for a sales job right now, you could crush it. And like, there's so many sales jobs. Like, people, there are things that are growing, but music is like, you can't just get paid for that. You need to have there's so many layers to getting paid as an artist. And yeah, I mean, like I told my mom when I was a kid, like, Mom, I want to be an artist. And she's like, John, you can't become an artist because it doesn't make any money. And I grew up my entire life with that limiting belief. It's like, I can't be an artist, so why try? So I never really tried, and it wasn't until like me and some friends here in Chicago created this group called Revive Collective. It was in 2018, 2019, then we kind of dispersed during COVID, but one of our tenets was like, everybody is a creator. And I was like, I remember hearing that tenet, it's like, and my ego was like, that's not true. And then it wasn't until like we had a number of parties that we had like an 800 person party in October 2019 at this like venue on Goose Island. It's like this warehouse space. It's probably still there, I don't know, but it was and then we put these like chalk on the floor, and people were like drawing. It's like there's art in 4 dimensions. There's like music, there's sound, there's like people with bubbles, there's dancers, there's chalk going on. It's like, holy shit, everybody's literally an artist. I forgot how I got here, but it's like, it's just like in this country, I think doesn't value that. And I think it's important to like find a way to enable that spark without letting the man get you down.
I think what you said about sales is resonating with me too, because it's like, that's how I feel like I have to be to promote anything out there nowadays. I have to be a good salesman.
Yes.
To explain to people like, you should be with this because like, you know, and also having the conundrum of like providing something valuable and not just taking people's money.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And I'm sorry.
No, go.
I was going to ask, there's like 100 different ways to answer this question, but I'm just curious. In your very specific perspective, what would you consider as success as an artist, like a producer or a DJ? Is it being able to make a living off of your art? Is it being a producer who, you know, every DJ that you respect plays your music, but you know, cannot make a living off your art? Is it fame with fans, but other DJs don't play your music? Like if it's going to be one certain thing, what would you consider success?
That's a really good question that I don't know if I've answered. I think initially, like back in 2023, I think my definition of success was something that was kind of like I made myself. I mean, I met John Summit a couple times after college. We had like similar friends of friends groups, and seeing him blow up was also like pretty inspirational.
He wasn't big when you knew him.
No, he was like getting, like, I remember there was a boat party in 2017, like this on the Summer of George, that when he used to go out into the lake, a friend of mine booked him and he was the star of the show. Like Rami Deborah played, I think. But then also John Summit played and he crushed it. He was obviously the most energetic. It's like, this guy's going somewhere. And then I remember, talking to him on that party too. But just seeing him, that was the last time I talked to him, like in 2017. And then he's now who he is. And I remember like through COVID was a pretty depressing time in my artist career. I was like seeing the world kind of opening up. I was in a relationship that wasn't great at the time that I had to leave. And I was just like, that was like, I was in a very dark place. And I think my definition of like success at the time was like to become something like John Summit. And since then, I think like I've definitely moved away. That was like maybe 2 years ago. I've kind of moved away from that to kind of, I think if I could be the one to help change the perspective of culture in Chicago, that would be a success to me. It doesn't have to be me, but something is like
being a part of it.
Yeah.
Being a part of the change.
For sure. And I think like, maybe we'll get into this, but like the competitiveness in Chicago, like if there's a way to like diminish this crab in a bucket mentality, some people may not know that exists. Maybe like
crab in a bucket. I've never heard that.
It's like when crabs are crawling out of a bucket, other crabs will pull you down and pull you back in. And it's not something that is like very overt, and some people may not even be aware of it. It's definitely something when I was first DJing in 2017 and first gigging, I remember one of my mentors, RJ Pickens, like it just gave the impression that like, keep your cards super close. Don't trust anyone. Keep it. And I think that's just like the impression that I got from him. And I think that was something, when throwing parties, you really had to keep your cards close or like you would get screwed. And I think that's, even people think, oh, that's totally gone. It's totally changed. But I think once you hit a certain threshold, crabs will start pulling you down, and you need to be able to either leave Chicago and then come back. And then once you're famous, but, I think like being able to enact cultural change is like, that's my definition of success. That's a long answer, but
why do you feel like Chicago is so competitive? Because I've heard that a million times.
Yeah.
And I feel that. I do feel that same sentiment that like, you got to be a little bit careful who you trust.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other people that would be like, oh, he's not playing the gig? Well, I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Damn. Yeah, I think like if you've been around and you've seen things after a while, like you could just not see it, but I think it's there, and I think it's definitely something that still exists. But I think it dates back to our redlining days, and even further back to like I heard Chicago used to be a pretty violent city, not just through maybe through gang violence, but also like the city was pretty oppressive, like dating back through the Haymarket massacre in like the 1880s, for like people were like protesting 10-hour workdays and the police shot at them, and then the media spun it as like unions are bad, like you got to work as much as possible.
It was like the union busting time. Yeah.
So I think I think it kind of stems from that. I'm not sure, and I think I want to write something about this. I've had this, and this is also a panel that I kind of maybe thinking about having, at CEMC. I don't want it to be negative. I think that's one thing we want to make sure that we don't have. But it's like you have to talk about it in order to change it. And if you just pretend it's not there, I don't think nothing's going to change. And I think there's...
Yeah, I feel like Chicago doesn't think of the, like, you know, all boats rise with the rising tide, whatever that thing is. I'm not hitting my marks with my
Maybe you gotta
sayings.
sing. You gotta sing.
I gotta sing it. But I feel like there is kind of like a different opposite feeling there. Maybe more gangster mentality of like, look, we select who makes it. And I don't know. I don't know if that's like...
I mean, it's just like, I think it just boils down to capitalism. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's really like what it boils down to. And like if you have pool as a ticket, if you're a DJ and like you can sell tickets, like that's the real thing that... And I think if people protect what they have. Yeah, so like, I mean, I remember back when like the Spy Bar used to book more minimal shows, and then I heard all of a sudden like they just stopped. They had like a dead night because it just didn't do well, and like I don't think they've booked minimal shows since. So everything has to be a complete sellout. If not, there's like no risk taken. So yeah, it's interesting.
That is interesting. You kind of spoke on this, but I wanted to ask if there was any specific like infrastructure thing that if you could just like switch real quick, if that would maybe help. But any ideas that have been like, you know, in your head that you're like, that seems like we could just do that. Like that would be easy.
Have a Chicago Electronic Music Week or House Music Week.
Oh yeah, like a Miami Music Week type of thing.
That is like let the city run it. Let ARC be the center of the show. Because it's like if you have a week that is designated by the city, you could schedule around that. We would probably move CEMC to be in that time, because it's like people are coming from out of town. You don't just have to depend on the market, and you can have like DJs. Like imagine like on Randolph, like you would just you're going to ARC, but then like you could just like party at like a little bar on Randolph, because it's like you're on your way there, and it's like
it could be during ARC and North Coast
for sure. Yeah, I think just because I mean that's something that is like an ADE in Amsterdam. Like you just see all these different tiny little parties happening all over. Not everything is associated with the Amsterdam Dance Event. Like and sometimes those are like the most fun. Like you can go to Gashouder, which is like a massive, huge production, to see Fortet, which is awesome. But then like some of my favorite memories are just like you're leaving that, and then you just catch a beer with like, oh look, you're that DJ. Like, oh, you're Mitch Oliver. Like, oh shit, what's up? Like, you want a beer? Like, yeah. And then you end up into partying till like noon, like that kind of stuff. Like that. I think maybe like partying till noon in city of Chicago is not really a thing, but I mean, just like designating a week. I don't know why there's a lot of money there, I think, and a lot of missed opportunity. I think that's one thing that I think could really, really help. And also just something that I think the city used to do, not the city, the promoters, like this started just before COVID, but having a shared calendar of events and promoters communicating. It's like, hey guys, I have this event happening, and if you have conflicts, you have conflicts, but just like talking, I think is like a really good thing to do. And I don't know if we still do that.
What was the thing you were saying about 4 a.m.? Like we can't go past 4 a.m.?
Oh yeah. There's no more 4 a.m. licenses that are being given out.
And is that like a legacy thing? Like your grandfathered into that? Like some places?
I think it's just the building. The building has a 4 a.m. license.
Okay.
And from what I heard at the house music conference a couple weeks ago, is that from somebody there, they mentioned that they're not giving them out anymore. That if a building, so like the Mid, for example, that had a 4 a.m. license, that building got demolished and turned into a high rise, and that 4 a.m. license is gone and will never come back. So that's a bummer.
I think there were more pre-COVID, like you said, but like Beaumont's was another one.
And there's also like that Chase Bank on the corner of like North and Damon. That used to be a bar, and upstairs there was like a club for about a year. It was 4 a.m. But yeah, those are not coming back. And I just like, why? I guess like maybe the city doesn't, they just made a decision, I think, and I can't understand why, but I'm not trying to like shit on the city of Chicago. No, it's like,
no, I just think that there are certain aspects of the scene, and I've never really dug into the logistics, so to speak, like why and where's the money and blah, 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 Word. Well, we've done a lot of stuff. I feel like, we play a track, you know, we got a couple tracks you sent me. I was going to play this one called Sirena.
Sirena. Sirena. It's like a mermaid in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you roll, Jerry?
What's up?
Can you roll your tongue?
Yeah. I took Spanish, but yeah, I know how to roll my tongue. This one, should I skip a little bit in?
Yeah.
Where do we place this in the deep progressive section?
This is like a balance between deep progressive jazz house. There's a trumpet at the end.
I love jazz house.
Yeah. There's some of my favorite. That's the kind of music that I really want to make more of and get good at. But it's just really refined and I'm also a perfectionist. So it's kind of hard for me to I don't know, just release music sometimes. This is I made this on a plane from Miami to Panama City, a 3-hour flight, 3-hour flight, and just arranged it. It's wow, it's done. It's, yeah.
That little reverse hi-hat into the one is nice. It's kind of just sucks you back in.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Do you have a thing for mermaids?
So, I think my thing is that when I make music, I think this is a blessing and a curse, and I'm trying to make it turn this more into a superpower, but every song that I make has a story, and there's some sort of play on words or something, and this is I just imagine the vocals and the way that the pad comes in, that this it's a mermaid, like a siren,
a siren singing to you,
and the way that the vocals I reverse them later in the track, and it's she's ooh, that sounds interesting. It kind of imagine and she says something "You'll never forget me" or something, and that's kind of so I made this into it's a mermaid talking about someone you'll never
seducing sailors,
for sure. And I think it's also a curse because sometimes I put too much pressure on that story. I have a release coming out next Friday. It's a bootleg release of Childish Gambino, "Feels Like Summer," and it's very different from the original. Well, not very different. It's just a departure from it, and it's it's darker, a bit more reflective. But then there's also this kind of hopeful airiness to it, and it's not the same guitar strum as the original. But I think when I first sat down to make it, I had I made the original melody. What came to mind, this is may sound crazy or just cringe to other people, but it's fuck, this is hopeful. I want this to save the world. The world is dark as fuck right now, and I just want this feeling. But that's so much pressure, if you put that this is gonna save the world, don't put that pressure on yourself as an artist. I think I have my favorite music producer is this Australian living in Berlin. His name's Hugo Horwood. He goes by Hollow, Hollo, and I asked him, it's what's the song about? It's oh, just a song, we just made it. It's what? And I think I want more of that approach, but I think I do have a superpower in being able to tell a story about something, but it's I put way too much pressure, and I've seen from your releases, it's just I don't know if you do that yourself, Chris, but it's I guess, how do you deal with that? Does that make sense? How do you just add a story to it, or you just kind of oh, this is a song, release it?
I just make songs without trying to tell a story and really without trying to convey emotions. But I think being so heavy into music, like it naturally tells a story because in my head, that's what good music sounds like.
Right.
So it's not necessarily my like visualizing things. It's more so my making a song and it happens to tell a story. And like, I personally like putting that in the hands of the audience and being like, what do you visualize when you hear this song? Because like, you're right.
Yeah.
Like I personally like giving that power to the audience and like giving them a part of my art and not totally owning it. But like, it's so interesting because everyone has a different approach and like some people just make cool sounds and that's it.
Yeah.
And then some people really put a story into their music and try to put something in an audio form. And like, sometimes the two can be indistinguishable.
Right.
You know, it's a very cool process for both people.
I feel like if it works for you, like if you're telling a story and you hit the mark on it, that's probably the most important part.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on it. Like I'm very visual and like this song would be for you to listen to on a beach cabana, like, and it's nighttime. And like, that's how I think about music. It's very set and setting.
Yeah. I like that.
But I feel like if you're trying to tell a story and you're hitting the mark, then at that point, you know, once you put your art out there, it's not yours anymore.
Right.
It's for everyone else to decipher what it means.
Exactly. That's very Rick Rubin of you both, just in the sense that like, Rick Rubin, he's like, I don't know how he says it, but like, don't make the story yourself. Like let others tell the story of like what, and like I have another release that like, it's my favorite song I've ever made. That I'm going to release later this year or next.
I should have asked you to bring some whips.
Oh yeah, I could send you some. But yeah, like the way that I put way too much emotion into this, but like, I think I need to balance a bit of both, be able to like, cool, this is a song, I'm just going to make it, boom. But I need a little bit of both for me, I think.
For sure.
That's fair.
I think it makes it easier to take feedback if you don't put your soul into it.
For sure.
But also putting your soul into it is what makes it special. So like it's a balancing act. But I can definitely see putting so much of yourself in a song and someone's like, yeah, the bass could be higher. And you're like, ouch, that hurts.
Yeah. I get that.
I feel like for me, when I listen back to my music, it's like, do I feel proud of it? That's like a big thing. I'm like, well, I fuck with this.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's conveying the thing that I wanted it to.
Yeah.
So
that's important. And really, I mean, it's your art. And it's like, I think that's one thing that I think, not to harp on capitalism, but I think like you think art needs to be successful. Like what is successful? But it's like sometimes releasing art I think should be success. Like if you can make a song, release it, like that is a success. And I think more people need to like have that. Like I made a reel the other day and I was looking at the stats like, oh fuck, it's not getting all the reactions I wanted. But it's like my girlfriend's like, sometimes art's just art. Like who cares? I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's tough out here though. You're trying to like make a name for yourself and make that, allow that to bring you new opportunities.
For sure.
Yeah, you're looking at the numbers and you're like, this one didn't hit quite right.
Yeah. It's all just learning. It's just a continually learning like, oh cool, this didn't do well because maybe, but yeah, it's
also,
totally.
I was going to say a very common thread that I hear from artists is that the song that they didn't think was going to be popular is the one that is the biggest.
Yeah, you said that, right?
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to quickly just talk. We talked about a bunch of different genres of house music, but jazz house, I love because you can listen to it in an environment where it's not fully grabbing your attention.
Right.
Like maybe you're like, ooh, I like that groove, but you're not like, you can still talk to your friend. You can still just kind of be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. John, like I DJ'd a set the other day that was all jazz house, and I was like, this is my music.
Nice.
But do we feel like Chicago also has, room for that? Is that happening at any venues that you could recommend?
Not that I know of. There are 2 parties next month that have that. So are you familiar with Berlioz?
Yes.
He's my favorite jazz house artist.
He's coming next month. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to reach out to him.
Yeah, we should all go. Fuck, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Is it one guy? Because I was
guy.
I was listening to him today, and I was like, I wonder if this is like a group.
Yeah,
pretty sure it's one dude.
Yeah, it's one dude.
Okay.
And he's like, his marketing is amazing, and
yeah, the visuals and stuff.
Yeah, he works with different artists to create like just a feeling, and I think that's the most important thing. That I think in this day and age, when you're like scrolling through the phone, sell the feeling. Like if you could, like he has a vibe. You hear I hear the name Berlioz, I get excited. I'm like, oh man, that's fucking awesome. And I think he is like a really good example of kind of like the good of where the industry is the industry is going in. I don't want to
a lot of different directions.
Yeah, a lot of different direction. It's like my favorite direction of where the industry is going. It's like the Gen Zers aren't drinking as much. It's like people are demanding. There's a study in like The Guardian or some British newspaper that they did how people are people going out more? And the answer is like no. People, at least in the UK, they want more day events. They want things that are like much more like, they want sober parties. They want day events, activations where like you're not forced to drink.
I also agree with that, because when we were talking about 4 a.m. bars, I was like, I'm cooked.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm done.
Exactly. And I think like that's what I love about Berlioz. And it's like, I think it represents like this jazz house feeling that I think is like, I think it's probably like one of the futures, and I think one of the brightest parts of dance music that I think is doing well. And like, honestly, this was like my most successful Spotify song, and I only advertised it for 2 months, but I was advertising on it for 2 months. And it's like I do plan on making more of that, and I think more people are easily gravitate towards it.
Okay, here's a question, just because you brought up advertising. Do you feel like, at least for yourself, that you have to put money into advertisement in order for your song to do anything?
Yes. 100%.
Why so, and how do you go about that? Do you have like a strategy?
Yeah, so my strategy is to usually like so as soon as like the first 48 hours are really important, so run ads for set a budget of at least $100. Run it for like the guy from like Hyped Edit suggests like $5 a day. You could do like start small, or you could have a bigger budget at the start and then like have it like taper off. But also just like always assessing data and making sure that like that what you're doing is working. But yeah, like running meta ads is like, you could do Hyped Edit ads, but it's like it's more of a boost versus like running an ad on like meta is probably like the main way of doing it. And then one of my mentors that I've worked with, Tosh, his name's Lex. He's like making amazing music. I just finished a workshop with him over the summer on, but what he does is like, he makes almost like 40 different visuals, in Canva, and just like they're videos with the song layered in it. And then he runs all of them. And then from there, he just refines until he finds like the one or two that do really, really well. And then from there, that's the ad. Because just like he has one ad for a playlist he had for a release, and it's just like this girl in like this tropical place in Costa Rica, and it's like this girl like walking across a log, and like with his song playing, and like the cost per click was like a couple pennies. So just try to like use data, sell the vibe is the most important part. Try to sell the feeling. Yeah, I mean, that's like a long answer, but that's kind of like how I go about it.
No, I appreciate the long answer. Definitely some stuff I've heard. Me and Chris are always talking about this, like make a bunch of different ads, see which one works the best, go with that one.
For sure.
Allocate, you got to spend some money. It's a pay to play.
It is pay to play.
That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, it's how it is now.
We always ask a wrap-up question, which is, we talked about your first concert, but what was like the most influential game changer concert you went to that you just like couldn't come back from in the same way? You're just a changed person.
Yeah. I think there's two. One was the Laurent Garnier set in 2018. That was like
the Movement one.
Yeah, Movement. I was like this pretty sad panda at the time. I was in love with this girl who was just like she didn't like me back, and she was there, and like I was just like, and me and my two friends are like, who's this guy Laurent Garnier? He's a legend. Okay, cool, let's check it out. And like I left just so inspired that like, holy shit, I'm an artist. I feel this is really just, it kind of like kickstarted a lot of like the creative energy that kind of like got me to where I am today. I'll never forget that.
Did you care about your girl after you watched that set?
Things just naturally went like different ways, and I think that's okay.
No, that's totally. I was thinking in the moment you were not thinking about her anymore.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, it kind of was a time in my life where I was like, I guess, I kind of grew up my entire life thinking I'd never be happy until I found the love of my life. And like, that was like my first heartbreak, really. And so like through that time and through that, like after that set was like, I was really like a time of self-discovery and like, wait a minute, I can find happiness on my own. I could be my own man and nobody else is going to make me happy but me. And another set that really did that was April 2024. So last April of last year in Panama, there's this festival called Reactor of Anau that it's like near my hometown where my family's from. And it's, there's this German DJ, Mira, M-I-R-A, one of the most influential sets I've ever seen in my entire life. And I think it's kind of like what I walked away from. Like, it was not an easy set. It was a 4-hour set on a mountaintop. And part of it was like, there's part of it that was just really challenging internally. It's like, this is rough. This is like hard, just in terms of like the mood of the set. It just felt dark, but it ended like really beautifully at sunrise. And but I think like what I walked away from it is that like the world is in a really dark place. There's a lot of anguish. There's a lot of pain, but there's like so much good worth fighting for. And it's like, somebody has to fight for it. And it's like, I had a calling that like, I need to be a part of that. I'm not going to be like somebody on the street protesting, but it's like, I'm a part of this change and I want to make the world a better place. And that's something that like really activated me. And I think whenever I meet Mira, I would love to tell her that, but yeah.
For sure. Nice. Well, thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Yeah, dude. Well, shit. Anyone you'd like to shout out real quick? Like, you know, maybe family aside, I guess.
Yeah.
Like anyone in your career that has been really pivotal in like your thoughts and shaping who you are.
I mean, the first thought is like the CEMC team, like a bunch of badasses, a bunch of like really awesome creative people, doing amazing things, and excited to like continue working with them. In terms of like my girlfriend, Callie, just levels me out in such a way, like really like grounds me. She's really helped me along my artist journey, and to like, I think this last year, just to stop being a perfectionist, or like to at least minimize that. So she's been really helpful there. A bunch of mentors of mine, like Atish, one of my mentors, Crimson, Tosh. I think the mentorship has been huge over the years. And so like, that's really helped elevate my career. And I think like wouldn't be here without them. So
for sure. Cool. Well, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, and YouTube as well.
All John Rynecki?
J Rynecki.
J Rynecki.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You could look up John Rynecki and it'll be one of the first things you find.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Dude, well, thank you so much for coming through.
Yeah, of course. Thanks
really appreciate it. Yeah, Chris, thanks for co-hosting this with me.
Happy to.
Appreciate you. Yeah, anytime. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Peace. Yo, what's up, guys? This is your host, Jerry. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. If there's someone you'd like to see on the show, leave a comment below. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, we'd appreciate it if you leave a review and hit that 5-star rating. Thank you for your support, and we'll catch you on the next one.